Okay. So in the beginning, the first thing we shall be starting with is our um, let's say lists. Okay. So I hope some basics are already practiced by you, and certain expectations are there that you'll be able to manipulate some basic loop types and some basic string manipulations to some extent. All right. So in the area of lists, um, the it's actually a kind of data where you can create a bundle of, say, information together, okay, and store them in a variable rather than one single type of data only. Okay. There are major types like lists, tuples, and all that. Uh, there is strings, arrays, and other things. So there is dictionary also. Okay, so you can bundle things together and you know have a collection of things. And there is something like set also, and all that. All right. So the concepts of lists, let me just introduce to you first, is something like this. Suppose let us make a list of numbers. Okay, suppose you have a list of your numbers, and I think it some basic numbers, so you can see them being used now and then most often. You can say, let's say, you can use a list of let's say words as simple as this. Okay, so John, Mary, okay, and whatnot, Sam, and so on. So don't mind the capitalization. Let's not bother about it right now. Uh, do tell me now and then if the audio goes a little down, because Zoom seems to auto adjust the volume and brings it down for, I don't know, God knows what kind of leveling. So yeah, please text. So, and then you can always test your data by simply asking for printing out. Okay, so you can always check how it works and how the print output comes, and you can see how it has been stored actually. Okay, right. It hasn't worked. So I have been on and off in some previous sessions. Can anyone tell me whether lists and all that have been dealt with in details also earlier, or is it totally new today?
So, Abhijit, as far as I remember, there was some passing reference to list
Okay,
in O
fine,
split, but there is no,
good.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, yeah, I guessed so. Yeah, correct. So when you use the split command, list is mostly the output. Yeah, that's how it comes. Yeah, just want to verify that. So as you may see, thank you, Ritesh, for the clarification. As you may see in your list of words, you have a very interesting sequence of numbers, and well, coding and coffee goes together. So if you get annoyed by my sipping now and then, pardon me. Okay. So um, as you can see, we'll also try a few other things. Okay. For example, why don't we try some Indian, or say Indic scripts as such? Well, those who always use Linux and have been into some kind of data analysis, or even let's say corpus based, or some internship related to Indian languages, you may be aware of this kind of facility where you can shift through uh, keyboards Are you able to see the keyboard shifting option that I'm having on top of my screen? The language shifting. You can please text. Feel free to text. Okay. So I'm switching over to Hindi. You can always type things like, say, so there are some, we have, our own sat swar, right? Sa, re, whatever, you know, say, ga, so on and so forth. So, so these kind of things also you can have ready to be parsed, and let's say Python 3 deals with it very, in a seamless flow without any issues. And you can always check the list, how the list comes. Yeah, so you can print the swaras and run and see how it looks. Okay, so it's fun to play with all sorts of languages. I would always suggest that you try playing with your own native language and try and see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, for example, you'll find that sometimes, if you just put numbers, the digits, uh, okay, in this format, Python doesn't take them. So as far as I have experimented, I didn't need to work with them as such. I have seen that you still have to give them as let's say strings rather than, you know digits or, you know integers. So something like this may not work. Indian integers. Suppose Indian integers equals a list of, um, let's say, okay, एक दो तीन. It won't. So let's say this is Indian integers, whatever. It's not supposed to work. Should throw up some error. Yes, yes. Yeah, all these things as you can see. So yeah, you have to work around. But the fun part is play around with it and find out your limitations. Anyways, so I should get rid of this. Fine. So I have hope you have got a basic idea that you can create the list. Not just list is an effect of splitting as such. You can create your own list, and the whole list, the possibilities infinite, can be stored in one variable. Okay. So maybe let's speed up. Any confusions? Post your question all the time in the chat box. So, well, once you can create your list, you can have, a count, as in at which location of your list, okay, does a particular item reside. Okay, so you have something called index. Okay, and you can access that easily by using the following types of codes. So let's say, you can, this is the particular syntax. It's pretty simple, straightforward. So, and the counting starts from 0. So if it is asked as print my num2, it will give you the third element. All right, so that's the kind of idea. So as you can see, 3 is the output. Pretty straightforward. So you can use the same with all the other items and see for yourselves. By the way, just to share, in Python, you can also experiment with several things. For example, let us say, let's convert the word print into a Hindi equivalent. What would it be? Something like chap or something? I don't know. Whatever. So you can, give it the properties of print, and then you can also ask it to print something. Okay. Uh, this is my print command, and I have, let's say, as far as let's index, let's ask for the third element from there. Let's see how it works out. Yeah, so as you can see, the ga output is also available. Fantastic. But everything won't work. It's not so easy. There are a lot of restrictions. So, well, Unicode is happily used to some limit, but yeah, please do play around. All right. I hope you can understand where these kind of things are going. You can try to, build a package or something with your own Indic languages and see how far you can go. So, fine. I think enough of distractions. So, with your print, general print command, you can also change certain elements within a list. Okay, so you can change the value of a particular item in the list as well. So, for example, um, you can. Oh, so I'm sorry. So you can take the mouse is not corresponding well. Okay, suppose you can refer to a particular location or the index where you have to, or you desire to make the change. Okay, well, nicely collab shows a preview of what all is there available in the list, and the item.
Abhijit,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Yeah, can you increase the font size maybe a little?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
I was worrying about that. Yeah, I hope that will be enough. Or
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's good enough.
Good, good. Thanks. Yeah, so yeah, things won't spill over to the right much.
Also, if you don't mind, then
Yeah.
you could share the link of this document in the chat, so that
Okay.
if people want to, go back and forth, they could. Yeah. So
Oh yes, yes, definitely. The document where I'm typing, or the.
yeah, the document we are typing,
All right. I'll
the
do it.
link to this. Yeah.
Yes. So I think I can directly type. Can you just tell me?
Oh yeah, the scroll a little below, and you could
Yeah,
copy the link.
this is not showing here.
No, 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 no. इसको हाँ
Oh, I
नीचे.
see. I'm in another this thing. Login
Not
automatic हो
just
गया.
scroll below. There is a get link thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
So no, you'll have to change.
Checking. I'm checking that.
Yeah.
I'm checking that. Share with people. Where is the option?
Yeah, you just have to click on change link to yeah, just make
Got it.
that
Got it. Got it. Got it.
yeah, that will work, I think.
Yeah, I'll share it right now. So that is PyLing and the Google group. Uh,
No, you can just paste in this Zoom chat.
chat box. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, it's
yeah, that
available.
will work. So
Yeah, great. Great.
thank you
Thank
very.
you. Thank you.
Sorry for
No,
interruption.
not at all. Not at all. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, yeah, always do interrupt and I get the ideas clarified. So you can play around with changing the certain values of a particular location that has a particular or some change you want to make at that particular index. Okay, so these things are also quite possible using the list. All right, so similarly, and then after you have changed it, you can always go and test, and by printing, and then you'll find that the output has actually changed. It varies from the previous status. Okay, so these things are easily doable. Let's push on to the next. So lists also allow you uh, to form a particular or to frame a query, whether something that you're looking for. exists in the list or not. Okay, so for example, you can always go into the if else commands, very simple, straightforward, and then you can find out whether, okay, whether something exists in this particular list. So this query that you are, initiating, you must be sure that this will match, for case, for every, ASCII or Unicode information that is there, and without that match nothing will work. I guess if you have prepared a list in Unicode, or let's say you have some uppercase lowercase in some manner like this, okay, you should look for the exact word, or only if the exact word is matched, then will it give some results. So as you can see, if size and swaras, then you can say that okay, print yes, it is there, else you say no. And as it is still existing, the output spits out an appropriate answer. So I hope that was pretty clear. Well, certain other things you can also do is you can simply check the length of your list as well. And length operates pretty intuitively on everything that may have some characters, uh, or integers and whatnot. Uh, so whatever is an array, uh, whatever has some kind of vector inside it, you will be able to measure the length. Okay, so just make a len command on top of that. That's pretty straightforward. So let's say len of swaras. Okay, so hope till now it is pretty straightforward. Now we shall try to go into a little more, um let's say, uh, complex operations, just a little bit. So you can even add your what certain items to your list. Okay, and let's say uh, there are certain locations also you can add to. For example, if you want to add at the end position, oh I'm sorry, so if you wanted to add at the end position, uh, so you can have a simple command where um, append would be used. So I'm just building a ready command as such, where we shall save some time. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a particular string, and you have strings from corpus, and you can have Hindi and whatnot. Okay, so you can create your own word list by splitting at the default location of space characters, and you can also decide which other places you may want to split as and when required. So when you do a word list dot append every time, why don't we see what has happened? So um, the word list creates. Okay, nice. The word list creates, um, let's say, the list of words which are available inside it. Well, it's not purely a word list, it's just a split sentence. An actual word list would also be a set of the words where only one instance of each word is listed. Anyways, we'll talk about those a little later. As you can see, the Hindi as well as the English both are available. So if you wanted to see whether the appended information is available, okay, you can just print the suggestions are not coming. Okay, wordless, fantastic. No, okay, so So you can see that only at the end does the addition happen. So append is something that adds on from the next index onwards. Okay, there are ways to do it manually also, but append, saves your day, saves your time. So this is one way of getting around. Okay, now there are also, as some of you might be already guessing, there are also ways of putting that at a specified location as well. Okay, so let's say, uh, for example, let's insert something at the beginning of this English sentence. Okay, uh, what would you like to end? Let's say the word however. Okay, so yeah, so what we can do is, we use in such a case the function insert, and this gives you an option of deciding a parameter, the index or the location where the entry has to happen, and the value that has to be entered at that location of that list or that array, which or the sequence which comes before the dot. Okay, so if you can print, you'll find that the word however has been added. That's pretty fine, I guess. You can also, well, remove certain elements from a list. Okay, so what we can also, my mouse is running a little away from me. So a simple command like dot remove does the purpose, I mean solves the purpose. All right, so you can see, however, I will go and sleep every time. Just the remove will help you get it done. So many such things are actually intuitive, and you can play around. And many times, some of them may not work the way you guessed it should have worked. Yes, there are some questions, I guess, running parallelly. Yes. So, yes, and for the middle, you have to calculate the middle position number by doing finding out the range of the first and the last, and somehow split it into half and decide the middle number. Yes, so these are nice ways of getting around it, right? So um, there can be other requirements also, where you want to maybe clean some noise in your text, some unnecessary stuff and all that. Okay, so in that situation, uh, the word the command remove comes into play. Oh, I'm sorry, something hasn't copied. Okay, hold on one second. um what is wrong? Okay, oh, it's too big. Hmm. Sorry, just a sec. Something else, not okay. So you can remove a particular list, sorry, an item from a particular list also, and the it will look for that particular word, and wherever it finds that, okay, I have removed it already. Why am I repeating myself? Hold on, I was just looking for something else. Yeah, uh, remove the items from a list. Yes, there are some other ways to do that also. You can also pop out the list. Okay, that particular word, that is also one way of doing that. Let me delete this. So what happens is, in such a case, the last item will be shown as in as or returned somehow, as in, okay, look, this is being removed and this will disappear. Okay, so if you make this the word that is being removed, well, the default uh, parameter is set to the value of last, index of the whole sequence, and it shows what is being removed. And now after that, you know if you wanted to print the word list, uh, this is what would come. Okay, I see. Hold on. So this is what will come. Okay, however, you will see, at least in Google Colab, if you have such kind of commands which are supposed to return something as some kind of function, that a method that operates on the given object, it doesn't print if the following command is supposed to give an output. So that's a trend. It's okay. So I think the popping has been done twice. Let me just run that again. We'll have the correct output. It's running. Okay. I'm inserting, however, and I'm removing home and printing the word list. And then I'm popping the list, and only every time is removed from the end. Nice. Yeah, because when I ran it twice, it again removed the last item, which that time was sleep. So, that kind of things may happen. So, yeah, you have to be sure about what's going on. Okay, right. So, um, this is 8, I guess. Just give me a second. 8.1. Right. So, you will be able to understand that simply putting a particular number here, as which kind of item needs to be popped, hmm, as show it and remove it. You can also do it here. It's a little different from removing, because you know it gives you some output and then removes. Remove simply does the function. It creates the new list accordingly, or modifies the list. All right. So you can also uh, let's say delete the whole list. Okay, by uh, saying a simple delete command. Okay, I could simply put along, right. Give me a sec. So you can remove the whole list also, or at a specified index also. It's a straightforward application where you can delete at this particular, let's say, location. Okay, so this is a word list. Yeah. Okay, at this particular location you can delete that, and you can have the whole list deleted as well. And after that, if you ask for print, of course, it will throw some tantrum, it will throw errors. Okay, so the first element at this will be deleted. I will go, as you can see, however is gone. Okay, but when you delete the whole word list, you just tested that it has been deleted. Yeah, that's fine. So you can just put it as comments. Okay, so I'll just speed through a few things, and because we have quite a short session, and focus on more important stuff. Okay, so you can also count certain elements inside a list. Okay, so counting becomes easy, as in how many times a particular item has occurred in a list. That can also be counted.
Abhijit,
Yeah.
sorry for interruption.
Yeah,
Can you
please.
please repeat this remove wala part?
Okay, sure. So by remove, I simply mean,
No,
inside. Yeah, sure, sure,
not
sure.
pop.
Yeah. So uh, if you want to simply, okay, I see. Uh, you can, yeah, okay. So you can also use the idea is that you can use word list dot remove, or you can use the delete function over it, and give it a particular index. Okay. Many things happen, like when you need an index, sometimes pop can be used, so you can see the output and then it removes. That's also fine. And I think that's also useful in debugging or other things. But as you can see, delete simply does that and modifies the list at that particular index. So there are sometimes more than one ways. This kind of list of codes has been, actually I had prepared the whole thing for Python 2.x and all that, but in 3.x several things, as you'll see later, I'll be pointing out, many codes, many options don't even work. So more economizing happens later. Okay. Earlier there were a lot more options for the similar things. So yeah, in different situations you will get to see what is more useful. For example, if you want to automatize a task, what is good for you to use, or which kind of format do you need, that the environment, or the kind of data will tell you, or the type of task you are performing. Suppose you are looping through some item, and you are sick, let's say, you have to remove some noise, or let's say some element in the beginning of all lists by default. So you can use this and put, instead of the integer, you will put the variable x or y, whatever, and in your loops and all that, you can use that variable to fetch that kind of say value, or which is the index. And you can always, let's say, write a code which looks for or hunts down a particular index by looking for, where is the index operation, um, by looking for the particular index. Okay, I didn't show it here. Okay, it'll come. I'm going to show that right now. uh, and that's what I'm going to show you now, at a particular location, that was shown in the beginning, yes. And at the particular index you might want to make some, say, have some operations done. So in such cases, delete becomes handy rather than pop and all that. So yes, you can use the variables cleverly and carefully, use them in loops, and reuse the variable. So delete would become more useful that way.
Uh, Abhijit, the question is that how is pop different from remove?
What I have observed, pop shows you uh, that, or returns that particular element, and then deletes. Uh, that's what I have been able to find the major difference. Whereas delete of that simply deletes that. It doesn't show you what is being deleted. For example, what I had shown earlier. Okay, so what list is deleted now, so it doesn't show anything. I'll have to go back and recreate it. Word list is created, insert that, and let's try this.
So in pop, we could actually, uh, if we assign that to a variable, so we will
Mm.
get the item that is removed, right?
Yeah, you will see it visibly, and
Okay, okay. The element that was removed.
yes,
Okay, okay.
you
And
have some feedback what is going on, that kind of stuff.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
Also, I think pop will require an index, while remove will require the name of the, not delete, remove the
Ha,
previously.
yes. Okay, with remove if you want to do. Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I don't think remove works with an index. I haven't even looked
it
into
works
that
with.
option.
So just curious, if
Yes,
there
yes.
are multiple elements,
Hmm. Yeah,
uh,
it's not designed for that. Yes, as you can
yeah.
see.
So if there are multiple elements of the same, so there are say three home,
Yeah,
will it
correct.
delete all three or?
Oh yeah, good idea. So, it should remove all the instances. Um, right. So maybe we should try this. What was here? Insert, however. Right. Shall we add? Okay. So we can just modify that and see. वो हो सकता है. I haven't tested that yet. Maybe why don't you, just test it out and see it for yourselves. There are so many options for the same things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
everybody
idea.
could test it out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun. Actually, there is so much more than we can even cover now. Yeah, and so much more that we never need. So, our things just get done. Yeah, but please do look it up. Okay. So, yes, there are several options of counting certain items, okay, and very straightforward. These become necessary and useful, especially when you have a corpus from which you have to check, let's say, frequency of words. Well, in the beginning classes of our Python, we had to create a counter which used to iterate through every occurrence and add, you know or let's say increment the value of the count, so on and so forth, which you may also practice sometime later. But there are certain inbuilt instances. Mm, for example, uh, you can put the count command, which is specifically designed for counting a particular, let's say, uh, value that you're looking for in your list. Okay, this becomes very handy when you quickly want to check the data for, let's say, frequencies and all that. Check word by word, or you can even go through a loop and specify, okay, this word occurs this many times, and so on. Okay, so, okay, I should have given the print command. Nothing will come out, of course. So you print it and find out what the count of cherry is. Well, cherry is of course one. We can definitely increase. It's a very good for health banana, and have it twice. And what is a print x cherry? Okay, nice. So we can just try that and put banana, and you will see that. Okay, so it has been overwritten, right? So these things are quite more useful, immediately for immediate research purposes. You can quickly take some. Okay, banana, there is something wrong here. First run count. Oh, what is yield?
It's a function you register.
No, I didn't want to add yield. Where did it come from? Maybe some suggestion had come. Okay, okay, sorry, I wasn't carefully looking. All right, so uh, these things become quite handy. uh, all right, so yes, please give the questions. Yes, square brackets and all that. Uh, so this becomes quite handy when you are looking into corpus and all that also. So there is a small thing that we should be careful about. uh, you can also add certain new lists. So suppose that while doing splitting and parsing and all that, you come across two three different strings, and suddenly there is a list inside a string. Suppose, worst case scenario. Okay, so there are different ways of growing your pre-existing list, suppose, and uh, by that I simply mean add the elements of a new list to an existing list. Okay, so there are different options of doing that. Suppose vegetables, or let's say plant items, may have this kind of list. Okay, and you have found another list, let's say, I don't know, let's call it um, what, some kind of roots, say potato. Okay, and anything else, let's say carrot is done. Okay, turnip, let's, okay, not everything underground, cucumber. Okay, so you can always add that and see some output. This is one way. mm, but you should avoid that. By common sense this comes to the mind, avoid that allow at all costs. There are good ways, or best practices through which you can use for several complex purposes also. So the best option is, uh, let's say, okay, so the way to do this would be, okay, you have to add this and store inside another value, and then only you can reuse it. Let's say veggies equals and all. I mean, this looks tedious. Okay, so you may not try that all the time. You can try, let's say, fruits dot extend veggies, or let's say veggies dot extend, give it the list here. You know, you can do that also, the new sequence of lists, whatever. So that is a good way to do that. Okay, so the new list, the whole thing can come here, and it will simply take care of that. I think uh, there are some issues of putting it inside. Let me see. It worked. Yeah. So you can always check what the output is, and well, it's the same. Well, you can store this as you iterate through loops and find some data in a text, and put the variable name here rather than the whole list. So these things are more handy. There are a lot of options. Use the best method, best option. Okay. Yes, exactly. Right. So we'll go into a little bit more. So Ritesh, what is the ending time uh, compulsorily?
We plan to start the intermediate session at 12:30. So
Hmm.
by then,
Okay, 12:30, right?
yeah, so
So
maybe 12:20, 12:25,
ha
something.
ha, some gap may be required. Yes,
Uh,
that is. Yeah, please.
yeah, I have a question.
Yeah,
Question is regarding that count. So when you're putting this count option, can you just bit of, yeah,
yeah.
in that count option, are you checking it using the index value?
This is an inbuilt function. It will be actually the count, I guess, would be the same as you would go through the for loop. Okay, find a particular word and then see how many times that word occurs again. Okay, create an index value before that for loop.
Mm,
Okay, and say my index equals 0 or something.
mm,
Okay, and inside your loop increment that variable with
okay.
+1 for every
Okay.
instance. ठीक है ना? I hope I gave you the
Yeah, yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That is
Thank
how we have been manually taught, and it's good if you do it manually before,
you.
and then you can understand how it's working. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. All right, sure. But these are default for certain things. It may not work in every case of count or something else, complex things. So you have to go into the manual method and do other things. Well, this helps you to quickly look into data and find frequencies. Um, okay.
Uh, Abhijit, there is also a question from
Yeah.
Miraba. So, is this
Okay.
similar to merging two lists? I think the key.
Oh, wait a second. This means, uh, as you can see, yes, you can extend at the end. By merging two lists, was there a merge command separately? I haven't looked into. I
No,
don't
no, no.
know.
I think it's the extend thing. Yes, it is
Yeah,
merging.
I will tell you. Yeah. So merging, as Python community has not defined yet, may end up having results as follows. Say, you might have, suppose, a list existing, and if you add another list, it might come with a bracket inside. Okay. So that is also merging. This is also merging. है ना? So suppose you may end up having a list like, uh, say, uh, one, uh, two, three, sorry, okay, and you have another list. Suppose, let's say, five, six, seven, whatever, strings, integers, whatnot, mess up, whatever. So this is also coming something inside the other. Okay, some way of merging. Okay, uh, so you may need this kind of thing sometimes. Okay, well, as you will observe in dictionaries, you need such kind of groupings together. So even that may be considered as merging. This is extension purely, where from the end onwards only the values are added. Okay, independent, I mean, one by one to that list, not that the whole list is inserted as a single element. So it's purely an extension. Okay, I hope that clarifies a little. Yes, I haven't come across a merge command, so yeah. Yeah. So
Hello, sir.
yes.
This is the list inside the list. How to access the list inside the list? For example, we are accessing through the index number only.
Huh.
For example, this is the index is only
Any
3.
item, any item you can, so uh,
Sir,
suppose you, yeah,
I'm
suppose you go through a while loop, and you have been able to access independent strings.
yes, yes, that is independent thing. I accept it. I'm
Huh.
asking about this is the 567 is the is the same. It's
Yes.
the list inside the list. I want to access the 5 means how to access the 5.
Exactly. That is possible. So suppose you come across such a kind of list,
Hmm.
uh, you will have to simply go for the type. What type of, let's say, uh, you know, what type of element, what type does this belong to? So you can say through for loop, if your type, so after the comma, the whole thing is a single type. है ना?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a
So
single index.
yes, yes. So if you then cleverly you can build a code which says, okay, look for the type. If any of the types is a list,
Hmm.
then loop inside the list, okay,
Hmm.
and access each of them. That's a, I think, a decent way to access them.
Okay, there is no inbuilt method for that.
No, because it doesn't come by default, no. So,
Okay.
huh, this kind of data may be some exceptions and all, so you can work around. That's okay.
Okay, fine, fine, fine.
Huh. So in dictionaries, as we will do, you can embed dictionaries within another. There's a multi-level
Okay,
embedding of
okay.
information, right? That become
Hmm.
very useful,
Hmm.
and you can access key value pairs. Fantastic stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
so okay, let's move ahead. Uh, all right. So I hope the extension part is also clear. I will actually share with you a longer list of codes. I will skim through some more important stuff that I would like to cover in the class. Uh, there is one thing that we should always know, which is that which is always required when you do either, let's say, text manipulation and several other things. So whenever you want to split any particular you know sentence into a list, do some operations on top of that, okay, and then you want to combine, join that whole split information together, you know, and show it as an output. Okay, that is when you need to know how to join it back also. You split the whole thing, do the iterations, go through loops on each of the words and the parts of the words, do the operation. But when you are you know combine, when you want to show an output regarding a changed sentence, suppose you want to pluralize a particular word, so on and so forth, and then show the whole sentence with the plural form inside it. You have to combine it back. So join command comes to the rescue, and you can see, the main list has been joined into one whole string. Okay, no lists anymore. So these are handy stuff, things that we should know to begin with. So there are several useful stuff. So okay, hold on, to a list, right. So I think split command has been covered earlier, right? So you can, okay, so you can also join with some types of mm, special characters, let's say like this, and if you run it, you will find that the string looks like this. Okay, just a manipulation idea. Okay, mostly these are list to string conversion. Now you get an idea what all you need to do. If you think that you have certain sentences in a list, okay, then you may want to combine them with the dots. Okay, so if it was not 1 2 3 4, but if each of them were sentences, you might want to combine them with a dot and a space, of course, so on and so forth. So like that. So play around with that. I think today that's what I would like to conclude for lists. There are several other things. There are several types of indexing, slicing, and other manipulations. Those can be covered separately. Have they been covered already? I am wasn't able to follow the previous classes thoroughly. I don't know. So yeah. Anyways,
No, I think Abhijit, I don't think
list.
that. Yeah,
Acha.
list was not covered. So yeah,
No, I mean the slicing, and those things,
yeah.
range.
The string slicing was
Yes,
covered.
yes. So the same will apply for lists also. Yeah, thank you. So you can try that, and yeah, all of the times you should try to see, okay, if you have gone through a lesson in the beginning and you are going through a lesson right now, try to combine those insights from both the lessons and do your manipulations. So you'll get to know new things. All right. um, So, particularly after strings, something that becomes lists, something that becomes interesting is uh, knowing how to use, and let's make it section 2, and manipulate, use and manipulate, as well as create a dictionary. So even when I was being introduced to the concept of dictionary, when I was coding for the first time, that was in 2006, Python. I was seriously elated. I'm like, wow, I am making a soft copy of a dictionary. I am the king of all database. Okay, so go ahead and enjoy. Let's look at certain uh, creativity that we can put. Okay, so what I think I forgot to tell you earlier was lists are mutable, as in you can see that the values inside the list can be changed. You can do things like randomize also, and other things. I didn't cover everything. So as you can see, a lot of things can happen. Same as dictionaries also, they are also mutable. You can once create a dictionary and uh, let's say manipulate and modify a part of the dictionary, you can go ahead with that, change values of key. Now let's look at the structure of a basic structure of a dictionary. uh, you get to create a dictionary through a simple command like this. Third, let's say curly braces or third bracket, I think some people call it. And if you simply want to print that, you will simply have uh, empty, say, thing which has no information inside it. Okay, so once you have created it, you can always then start putting some new stuff inside it. Now what you can do is, let me do the first thing by hand so that it goes clearly. Suppose you have this dictionary, and the first option, facility that it gives you is to create a key. Okay, a key is something that you have in your hand. Okay, if you insert the key, you can do something to the dictionary and some value will come out. For example, if you have a key of the door and put it inside and turn it around, the door opens. So you have an instrument, you have the outcome of using the instrument or the value of that. What's the value of the key? All right, so you can um, have certain strings as the values of the key. Okay, so these are mostly key value pairs. Okay, and once you have created that, well, printing that. Okay, I could do this. I can run this command right here and it will store this key value pair. I can just oh, I cannot selectively run a line here, right? Okay, this is not possible. Is this possible to run a single line in Google Colab? So I never came across this. No, I think. Okay, fine. We have to repeat. So
You'll have to put that on a separate
understood.
uh,
Understood. Yeah, yeah. You can't run a single line. Okay, no problem. So and then you can see, okay, look, this is how it is created. The storage. I mean, at least the text representation of it. Internally, a lot of things are happening, as you must have, been explained by Teja how things are stored and all. But visually, you can just see an output and see, okay, this is the major thing being done, some activity. So colon separates it. All right. Well, this is just one. What if we need to put more stuff, okay, in the dictionary? Let's say we'll make some meaningful dictionary, let's say. Okay, let us start doing that. Let's get rid of that. Um, hmm, okay, ठीक है, let that remain. Excuse me. So uh, so this is how you can easily create it, some meaningful dictionary. And why don't we see what is going on? And rather than printing it twice, I'll print it only once. Okay, I'll get rid of these key value things and just recreate the dictionary again. Yeah, so let's see what is spit out. As you can see, the whole say key value pair that you used to see earlier is being split by a comma, of course, and a space. And you have a key, you have a value. So I think all of you would love to create your own dictionary and see how you can actually create a database of, some word and its meanings. You can also create a database of, some senses of that, some kind of identity, or you know, yes, that's theory, I'll not go into that. uh, so all this can be done. Okay, so um, once you can hold on. Once you can see is that uh, right, you can create suppose a new dictionary. Okay, my dictionary, and I want to create a new dictionary for now, and maybe another code block, just copying to save time. So simply a body part, say finger, and the value is any. Okay, so by the way, the space is not significant here, it's just a space so that you don't get confused. But yeah, in color coded interfaces is much easier. And you can store another key toe and the meaning of this, so on and so forth. Then you can keep adding hundreds and thousands of such key value pairs. And right, likewise, uh, so keep on creating as much as you can. Okay, the one I shall be using is not this. The one I shall be using to manipulate is some. Okay, let's put some information about myself. Um, suppose you want to form a contact card or something. and we will see that you can do a lot of stuff on that. So you have a dictionary where you have name, address, and contacts. And where's that body part? Right. And you can remove certain items also from inside it. Okay. So you can either use the remove part, or the pop part. Sometimes people many times prefer the pop, it seems, because it shows, gives you a feedback. Okay, look, this is what is being done. Now, how you remove certain items? Okay, I should you know put this. How you remove certain items from a list is also another option that is sometimes required. Sometimes you need to remove, say, replace also certain items. Okay. So you can use the pop option, then you will see that contact is being removed. So this value comes, mostly the value is being displayed, right? And the contact thing also goes away. Or let's say the value of contact shall be removed. Why don't we find out what happens to the actual list, or the dictionary, I'm sorry. Okay, so mm, okay, I cannot print it separately, right? Don't want to run it. And right, so the whole contact key value pair is gone. So you can keep testing and do different operations. There are different manipulations also. I think we have 15 more minutes or so. How do I access the dictionary horizontally? Okay, okay. Hmm, we'll come to that. Okay, so let's go to some more useful codes. I'll skip a few things. Okay, uh, accessing. So you can always, I didn't cover it here. So once you have a dictionary, you can access the value of it, okay, by referring uh, to the key. So that is a good way to use a dictionary. Of course, you need to know something about some information that you're asking. So you can simply ask my dict uh, of name. Okay, what is it? Let's try to do the best practice by putting print, and then you will find that you have a simple output. Okay, so it's a nice way. So suppose you have gone to a corpus and you have been able to find some words inside it, okay, and from some other source you have stored a value to that in a separate dictionary. Suppose you needed to create a dictionary of certain words from a novel, or so on and so forth. So once you have the list, then you can ask and find out, okay, uh, what is the name available. Suppose you made a dictionary as follows. uh, you have a tagged corpus and there are several nouns in the corpus. Okay, a good way to list all the nouns may also be, if you want to access it like a dictionary later on, that okay, uh, store the tag as the key, mm, and the actual nouns, okay, where which are happening with that tag, all of them can be stored in the value also. So whenever you want to ask for the nouns in a particular novel by accessing the dictionary of that novel that you are creating, you can always get the nouns and verbs and whatnot. It's fun to do that, and the task is coming up at the end. So simple and straightforward. There is also an option of, sometimes you may not uh, know what text is, what is the key that you may have, but you may know what is the value that you have in mind. For example, you have certain words like clean, let's say CLEAN, right? Um you have certain words like clean, CLEN, and in some cases clean is a verb, and in many other cases it's an adjective. Okay, so you might then look for the information the other than round. You might be willing to, so you want to say, okay, clean, what all let's say groups or keys is it stored under. So likewise those requirements may arise. So uh, uh, okay, am I looking at the index? Sorry. um, Value, I didn't come to the value part of it, right? Hmm. So okay, the part I have copied right now, it's about the index. Let me talk about this first. Let me talk about the index. So if you know a situation where let's say in a sentence the first word, uh, let's say which has been stored in the dictionary, suppose the first word may be a subject or something else. Or if you have a dictionary which is stored alphabetically, sorted dictionary is a function also. You might want to see the first one, okay, or the second one or something like that. Maybe you have access to an index number, okay, then this becomes useful. Many times some codes that you may see online may not work. That is because some ways some codes are meant only for the, let's say, Python 2 version, and some are meant for Python 3. So this is for the Python 3 version. So yeah, to be careful. In Python 2.x, both this as well as, let's say, the other one, both of them used to work. Okay, but only the first one works now in Python 3. So this looked a much more, let's say, intuitive for usage, but yeah, 3 has done away with a lot of redundant things. So yeah, if we run this, oh, something is missing here. Is it body part? uh, Body part has not been imported. Okay, I had removed the body part. Yes, fine, not a problem. uh, let's look for, sorry, my, no, just a sec, my, right. So the first key, suppose we do not know the key, but some, you have encountered a situation where you know that some index is accessible to you. So at those indices, what are the values stored. Okay, there are several situations that you will encounter. It will be a whole wild variety, so this may be handy in such kind of requirements. um, so you can also change the values several times by simply doing this again. I'll just go back, so you can simply do that again and rewrite that. Okay, so I don't think you'll have to, we'll have to list it separately. You can change that just like changing, or you are just like you are giving a new value to a key. All right. So again, you can have a length of a dictionary, pretty straightforward. So what is the case? Okay. Uh, okay. So you can change the length of the. Sorry. Check the length of you know particular full dictionary, as in how many words does it have, and so on. And you can just access that information. For here, you can just print the length and see how many key value pairs does it have. Likewise, you can actually count how many words does it have. By the way, if you come across a text and you have wanted to store, suppose, a bilingual text, or say parallel corpus, where you are accessing two different text files, and the data is organized there, suppose, if an occurrence of a key is entered twice, the first entry will be erased. Okay, so the second entry will be replacing the first one. So in such cases, you'll have to make sure, okay, you might enter something as sense 1, sense 2, and likewise, you may want to enter multiple embeddings of dictionaries, like that. I'll just skip through a few codes, and all right. There are certain things like dictionary conduct constructor and all also, but yeah, let me share that with you. So um, you have this situation where you may want to, you know find out certain uh, information in your raw corpus or whatever text. Okay, I could show you. uh, does it open it separately? No, I can't show you the database here. hmm Okay, I'll share that. So suppose in the particular raw text you have, let me increase, the sound has gone down again. You have the information uh, that you are going through the loop, and you don't want to use all these kind of, several complicated uh, assignment strategies. You can go for, simpler, straightforward attempts. I personally think these came up later in the development of Python. And yeah, as you can see, you put it up, you have all the detailed view of the instruction and information, how to create and manipulate from Google Colab. um, so this also works. You have a dictionary constructor, and it works fantastic. No big deal. Same way. um, so you can have, the interesting part of it, that's where we have come now. You can have multiple embedding of, concepts. Let's say, for example, you can, how do you want to embed several dictionaries? I don't think I found that anywhere in the tutorial, because those things don't exist. But sometimes, as and when we, you know come across several personal requirements of custom coding, some data like that, you can also try these things, though there may be other better formats of creating, say, database, whatever. So through dictionary also, for the time being, you can quickly create such things. uh, s- so the way is, you can first create a dictionary of your own, suppose animal dictionary, and within dictionary, for a particular key, you can create another dictionary. Okay, so what do you guess will be the outcome if we wanted to see the structure? Okay, okay, it's, how do I, all right, let's see. Did you see what is happening? So here, in this kind of embedding strategy, you can have, I don't know, infinite number of embeddings of information, and you should know, by the way, the main structure, such that where you are keeping what kind of information. Okay, let us try to populate it even more, and see how far we can go. Now, as you already know, uh, in dictionaries you have a key to which you can add a value. Now, again, this is a dictionary, And again, you can have a key value pair as follows. So for the dictionary animal dict, if no, create a key birds in inside which you put the list of birds. Let's say, so you populate birds, with the key sparrow will have this value. Birds with the key, let's say ostrich, will have this particular value. Okay, so if we do print there, it will create an empty dictionary because it will rerun the code. So why don't we put it at the end and find out what has just happened? Look at this, possibility. It's pretty interesting. So inside the birds, you have all these things, and yet mammals is empty till now. Likewise, why don't you populate, the mammals? You can try all that. Uh, let's say we can do that by going to this kind of code. Sorry, my mouse. Okay, so you can create the populate the dictionary for mammals by putting the first key as elephant and the next one as giraffe, and then we can see what happens. All right, so we have created a dictionary of birds inside our main dictionary, and we have also created a dictionary of mammals inside our main dictionary. Right, so you have elephants and giraffe and all. Well, how do we access? We can also do that. Okay. Uh, so suppose we want to simply access a part of it. We want to know that inside, mammals. Okay. Inside the mammals, what is a giraffe? Okay. Then we can simply run it, and you have access to that. So once the data is stored, everything is fantastic. The structure, you have to always write down what all you are experimenting. I think this was a result of uh, I forgot my coffee. I think this was a result of a lot of certain experimenting, that okay, locally wanted to have some prototyping, and temporarily we wanted to see how the storage happens and all that. Okay, so there may be better standard ways. So this is also one way you can prototype. Okay, so I think it's 12:22, and we are left with tuples, which is pretty short, and for loop, which is also pretty short. So I would like to ask if there are some questions, and ask Ritesh to suggest how we can go about the remaining shorter parts. Yeah, am I audible? Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there are any questions, you can please ask, or any suggestions or any ideas you are coming up with.
So, Shohad has asked, how can we access the dictionary horizontally? Sorry, vertically.
I don't, quite understand what you mean by the horizontal access, because for a dictionary, the main idea is that there is a key and a value. Hmm. With that basic idea, the dictionary process goes ahead. Can you clarify, Shohar, if there is something else you wanted to know also? Because,
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah, it is so. No, I
please.
wanted to know if I want to access multiple values. So
Yeah,
I want to access all of the values under birds,
yeah,
and I want to look at those vertically and
exactly.
not horizontally.
You mean, at the concept level? Yes, yes, I understand. So you can
Yeah.
always, yeah. So just like previously under birds, okay. Uh, so suppose you can simply write, yes, good question. So simply write this, and ml do not proceed till the, you know Oh, it's blocking my view. I hope it's visible. City animal ticked, and simply write birds. Okay, and see what all out. So this will give you the dictionary output of the birds. That's it. Nothing complicated. Okay, so you have everything about the birds right here. Everything inside the birds is mentioned. And if you only wanted to see the keys of what all things reside in the birds, then I think you can go with the keys option. Where was the keys option? I didn't write it here. Oh, that is for loop. Yes, hold on, hold on. So there must be an option without the values. uh, right. Print finger, change values, hold on. um Index. So what happened? Okay, so you can simply ask for the keys. Embedded dot birds dot. Let's see. Okay, so you can see that also. Hmm? Uh,
Is there any way I get this output in
yeah.
a vertical manner? So now I see sparrow and ostrich is next to sparrow. I want it one under the other.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So print will not do that. Yes. So for that
Okay.
you go to for loop, and that's after you know
All right.
afterwards. It comes later. So
All right.
that is a part of going through some items and printing something line by line for each keys and all that. So
All
for
right. All
loop,
right.
yeah, for loop is able to handle that. Now I got your question
Yeah.
right. So
Thank you.
it's simply a print look. Yeah, fine. Any questions, please? And before the next session starts, Ritesh and team can guide whether we should go ahead or have a break.
So I guess there are no more questions. Then we
Uh,
could.
Yeah, some question.
yeah, I just it's just a thought.
Yeah,
I heard about that of using the loop to print it vertically.
yeah.
Is it possible like using new line something like slash n and then we can do it in a vertical?
It yeah, it will be very tedious. I hope you can already guess it. So when you go through for, you will not even talk of that option.
Mm.
Talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
So it will be pretty easy and straightforward
yeah.
to do that with for loop rather than hard coded. So for
Okay.
loop is more like you can write generic codes to
Mm.
handle different types of data. If you do some function application over it, this will be mostly hard coding
Mm.
where every time this happens. Yes, but there are better options. Yeah, you can do that as you were saying. Yes, of course, it's true. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so I guess Rajkumari
Huh.
has a question, and so you could actually copy the YouTube link right from your Zoom session right now, and if you want to revisit, you will get it there. For each session, you could actually copy the link from right on your Zoom screen. Okay, the streaming link. All right, so if there are no more questions, then we'll probably close the session. And
So I had a question also, like so tuples and loops are left for today's. So we'll merge it with tomorrow's session then, like that. Huh.
sure, sure. Uh, so I think loops are were covered by Teja, if I'm not
Hmm.
wrong.
I think
But
for
yes,
was also covered. No,
huh?
was for cover for loop and all that.
uh, so one of the people here could tell probably because
Huh.
I think while loop I was there for while loop, but
Yes.
I might have missed a bit of session. Yeah,
They
so
were covered. Very good.
I mean you could also So in general, yes, for
Mm,
loop works like that, but in the
ठीक.
context of list and dictionaries and
Mm,
tuples,
mm,
you could show how
mm.
to
Yeah,
access each and every element.
fantastic. Yeah. All
And
right.
yeah, so tomorrow we could do this also. If there will be further questions, we could take that up in the lab session as well.
Yeah,
So I'll be there for the lab session. Hopefully, Abhijit will also be there.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see some of you in the intermediate session in a bit. Uh, so thank you for coming.
Thank you. Mm.
What's the assignment for today, Abhijit?
Yes. So I have the link. I will share this document. I'm putting the assignment. I just copy it here right now, and I will share. I think I have shared this document already in the chat.
Yeah, this document is shared. So we'll also send in the Google group.
Okay. Yeah. You can just share it in the Google group if you want. I'm just sharing the
Yeah.
problems anyways. So yeah, it just takes a second. Text. Right. So yeah. Okay. Oh, the list, the links have not been copied. That is difficult.
What is not copied?
I had created a link to some database which I have, and it was not copied.
So,
ठीक है, I will create it here. No
yeah, there
problem.
is still, so people could also take a
Mm,
break.
yeah,
Sorry.
please. ठीक है, I'll do it here. No
Okay,
problem.
we'll send the link again in the Google group once it's done, right? We'll send everything there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
guys. So see you in the lab at 3 then, or if you're doing uh, the intermediate session, then there. Right. I'll end the session now.